Well, welcome everyone once again to San Diego Sports Talk. Coach John Kentera with you. We're going to break down the Padres 6-game road trip. But more than anything else, I want to thank everyone. I've been all over San Diego the last couple of days, appearances on KUSI, Fox 5, and everywhere I've gone, people have been, number one, pointing out the podcast. Number two, they've thanked me for doing it. They like to get the good baseball talk and sports talk here in San Diego. And they know that we're going to be extremely honest. We're going to also be very, very fair. When you're playing well, we're going to say you're playing well. When you're not playing well, we're going to say that as well. So if you don't like what we're saying, play a little bit better. But more than anything else, thank you very much. We've only had a few podcasts so far. They've gone extremely well. They've become very popular, and I thank everyone for subscribing. We're on YouTube. And if you'd like to subscribe, we would certainly appreciate that. You can also find us, John Kentera, on Facebook. And my X handle is at Coach Kentera44. So again, we're on YouTube, San Diego Sports Talk, John Kentera, and you can hear all the past shows as well. We're going to get started right after the Padres finish up their 6-game road trip with 3 games up in Anaheim. Didn't go well. Padres get swept by the Halos. Halos hadn't won back-to-back home games all year, and now they sweep the Padres 3 straight. So the Padres come limping down the freeway tonight, and they don't have a lot of time to sit back and feel sorry for themselves because they've got a very critical division series open up on Thursday night against the Arizona Diamondbacks that have had their troubles recently, and going to be a very interesting series. Before we get out of here a little bit later on, we will certainly break down the pitching matchups Thursday through Sunday. But I want to give you a Manny Machado update. Manny left the ball game tonight on Wednesday. He left with a right mild strain of the hip flexor. He was trying to run out a ground ball, possible double play ball, and hit the first base bag, went down the right field line and held the right side. They came out, they looked at him. I think he tried to talk his way into staying in the ball game, but Mike Schultz, the training staff, thought better of that. So Manny came out in the ball game. After the game, Mike Schultz said that mild hip strain, and it's going to be day to day. So he's going to be a little bit sore. Riding home on the bus tonight and, having to play again tomorrow, coming off the road trip, I would imagine, Manny's not going to be in the lineup Thursday night. Maybe they get it stretched out. Maybe it feels a little bit better. I think getting him out of the ball game was the right thing to do, and don't let that thing flare up. Try to calm it down a little bit. So we'll have to wait and see when the lineups are thrown out on Thursday night. But I think a good move by Mike Schultz and the training staff to get Manny out of the ball game. You can't, be without him for an extended period of time, even though he hasn't, swung the bat like you would like. He finally hit a homer the other night. Can you believe the longest of his career going without a home run, 99 at bats, and then he took one out of the ballpark. Man, that's unbelievable. But hopefully he'll get it rolling. But I want to get to the recap of the Angels series because the Angels, they don't have a lot. I mean, Shohei Ohtani's playing for the Dodgers. Mike Trout's out. Anthony Rendon's out. They got a lot of young guys trying to make their way at the big league level. And Ron Washington, I think he's a very good teacher. He's been around baseball for a long time. Remember, he got to the Texas Rangers to the World Series a couple of different years, came up a little bit short. But, he's been around great baseball people. He does a great job working with young infielders and doing a nice job right now with Zach Neto, who played a big part in the game Wednesday night. In fact, Neto had a great series for the Angels. I mean, he swung the bat exceptionally well. He got the 2-run homer Wednesday night off of Dylan Cease after Nolan Schonwell led off the ball game with a home run. And those were the 3 runs that Dylan gave up. I thought overall Dylan threw pretty well Wednesday night. You take a look at his overall numbers. He took the loss, but unfortunately, the Padre offense is not very good. Even though the Padres out-hit the Angels Wednesday night 9-6, Padres had 1 extra base hit, and that was by Luis Arraez. And then, of course, Arraez had that just base-running blunder in the first inning. I mean, they very well could have had runners on first and third, and one of the runners would have been Fernando at first, so you figure, he's going to be able to steal second. And, you might have runners on second and third, nobody out. Instead, you had a runner on first with 1 out, because Arias ran into a tag at third base after Rengifo botched the little ground ball for an infield hit for Fernando. Padre base running in the series against the Angels was abysmal, absolutely abysmal. And if I'm Mike Shildt, I mean, I don't know if he's wearing rose-colored glasses or what. But you know what? I saw Bob Melvin. Everybody talked about Bob Melvin when he was in San Diego. Oh, Bob, sleepy Bob Melvin. He doesn't get on these guys. Well, anybody hear Bob Melvin's comments Tuesday night after his Giants got lambasted by the Arizona Diamondbacks? He got all over them. Said their effort wasn't acceptable. They came out the next day and they scored 9 runs and beat the Diamondbacks. I mean, Mike Shildt, I think it might. It's a roller coaster season. And oh, by the way, you're a game under 500 right now. I know it's still early. I know you still got, 97 games to go. I understand that. But your team not playing good baseball. The team overall is not playing great baseball. Defensively, they haven't been as good. Offensively, they're just in never land right now. Now, Fernando, we'll get to Fernando here in a minute. Fernando had 4 hits on Wednesday night, and he's starting to swing it. We'll talk a little bit more about that. But at the end of the day, I mean, they're wasting good pitching. I mean, they're getting great starting pitching. And, you can't expect these guys to go out there and throw shutouts every night. And that's the problem. And I heard a lot of people banging on Yuki Matsui. Hey, Yuki Matsui's got to throw more strikes. There's no doubt about that. But you know what? When you're coming in and you're having to hold a 1-run lead every night and you got runners on or you're putting runners on, you got to make those prime pitches. But especially the starters. I mean, the starters go out there with this offense right now. They're thinking, hey, we got to hold these guys to no runs or 1 run or we might get beat. I mean, you look at the scores in this series against the Angels. Monday night, they get beat 2-1. 2-1. They get the home run from Manny Machado. That's the home run I was telling you about. First homer, 99 at-bats. Padres had 6 hits that night. All right, they were 0 for 6 with runners in scoring position. Then you go to Tuesday night. They get beat 4-2. They out-hit the Angels 7-5, 2 for 7 with runners in scoring position. And then on Wednesday night, they get beat 3-2. So they scored a total of 5 runs in 3 games against a team that's 24-38. Are you kidding me? I mean, I think we're trying to kid ourselves, folks. This is a very mediocre Major League Baseball team. But you know what? When you look at the standings, and we'll look at the standings just before we sign off tonight, there's a lot of mediocrity in Major League Baseball right now. The Padres are right in this thing as far as a wild card. They are. But this team is frustrating. Aren't they frustrating to you? They're certainly frustrating to me. But that's where we're at. They get swept by the Angels. Who would have bet on that? Not even Tucapita Marcano would have bet on that. And I'm going to have some comments about him a little bit later on in the program. Okay, let's talk about the road trip. Oh, things were looking awful good after the first 2 games in Kansas City. In fact, it was looking really good until the 9th inning of the final game of the 3-game series against Kansas City when Estrada and Suarez weren't available, and the Royals end up scoring 3 runs in the bottom of the 9th and walk off with a 4-3 victory. That started the mess against Yuki Matsui. So they get out of there with a 2-1 record. Then they come in Monday night and they get swept 3 straight. I want to know how people are going to sugarcoat this one. I mean, the offense has been abysmal. Absolutely abysmal. In fact, let me go through Wednesday night. I'm going to go through Wednesday night what they did offensively. And I'm going to have a comment about all these guys, and then we'll move on because I want to get to Fernando. Luis Arias, 2 for 4 and a double. We know he's one of the best hitters in baseball, doing a good job. Came back, last night and again tonight after injuring that shoulder in the game Monday night. And boy, after that first swing last night as a pinch hitter, I was a little concerned. He was writhing in pain, but he came back tonight, had a nice 2-hit ball game, 2 for 4, and again a double. Fernando went 4 for 4. Manny 0 for 2 before he exited. Jake Cronenworth, he's starting to hit the skids a little bit. And I couldn't quite understand. Late in the ball game, the Padres had a runner on first with one out. And if that was supposed to be a drag bunt for a base hit, that was awful. In fact, I don't know, the scorekeeper in Anaheim, I don't know if he was paying attention. He actually gave Cronenworth a sacrifice. Now, that would have been a great sacrifice bunt if there was nobody out. But with one out and you're in the middle of the order, man, you got to swing the bat a little bit. But he didn't. Ended up being a little bunt back to the pitcher. Got thrown out at first base. Got a runner on second with 2 outs. Padres didn't score. I didn't quite get that. And he had to have done that on his own. Mike Short wouldn't have called for a sacrifice, even though the scorekeeper in Anaheim gave him a sacrifice. That should have been charged at bat. I mean, if that was an attempt for a drag bunt, you better get out there early tomorrow and start working on it. Because anytime you're going to drag bunt, especially if you have no strikes, you want that bunt to be either down the first or third base line, just fair or just foul. And then with one strike, you can be, you don't have to be quite as perfect. But man, that I didn't quite get that at all. And I mean, he's hitting cleanup, and he's bunting late in the ball game. Didn't get that. Jurickson Profar 0 for 4. Of course, he's had a good year, still hitting well over 300. David Peralta hit the ball hard a couple times. He was 0 for 3. Jackson Merrill, really nice job of going the other way for his one hit. He was 1 for 4. You know what? I have not one complaint about Jackson Merrill. I wish the other guys were going about their business like this kid. This kid, from what I've been told, and I talked to a lot of people this week about Jackson Merrill, this kid's really impressive. I mean, really impressive. And I know some people that actually know his mom and dad, a good family. They used to, pack up on weekends and drive all over for the baseball tournament. Just a really good guy. I like to hear those stories. Ha-Seong Kim 0 for 3, and Luis Camposano finally got a hit 1 for 3. That's the Padre offense. Again, in game 3, Wednesday night, they out-hit the Angels 9-6, but they had one extra base hit. That's not going to get it done. Okay, let's talk about Fernando. Fernando's swinging the bat really well right now, but he's not really doing that much damage. But you know what? You got to walk before you run. Got his average up now to 277, but got to get some power out of him. I got to be honest with you, and I know people will talk about this, and I'll talk more about it in our coming podcast, but I've been doing a lot of thinking about where the Padres are at right now and where they're going in the future. Right now, I don't see Ha-Seong Kim probably back with this ball club next year. And if he is back, the Padres will have got him at a discount rate. They already moved Xander Bogaerts off shortstop. And the only thing that's happened now is Xander's getting older, okay? And we'll see if he's even able to come back this year. You got Cronenworth, who's now gone from first to second. You got Jackson Merrill, who went from short to left to center. What are the Padres going to legitimately do in 2025 for a shortstop? I watch Fernando Tatis Jr. right now. I don't see the same enthusiasm that I saw early in his career. Why? I don't know. Won a Gold Glove last year in right field, Platinum Gold Glove winner. Platinum winner, best defensive player in all of the National League. But I don't see that flair. Do you see the flair you once saw from Fernando? And now it'll take a lot of work, but I'll be very honest with you. This kid's he's 25, going to be 26 next year. He's still got so many great years ahead of him. I think the Padres need to seriously consider moving him back to shortstop. I wouldn't have said that a year ago, because you brought in Xander Bogaerts, but you've already devalued him by taking him off a prime spot and moving him to second base, which makes no sense to me. He's a better shortstop than Ha-Seong Kim, in my opinion. Ha-Seong Kim has had some struggles this year. I mean, last year, the entire year, I believe, Xander Bogaerts made a total of 8 errors all year. And there wasn't one game last year where after the game was over, you sat around and goes, well, Bogaerts, he really blew that game. I want a guy that makes the routine play. The routine play is the one that beats you. You're not going to always make the great play, the diving play. These guys run too well. And when you do dive nowadays, more times than not, unless it's a guy like me running, you're not going to get anybody. And the only thing you're doing is putting yourself out there to possibly get injured. But I'm thinking right now the Padres need to, in the back of their mind, whether or not they'll do it or not, I think they need to move Fernando back to shortstop for a couple of reasons. Number one, we know how athletic he is. Yeah, he might boot a routine ball here and there. He also may make the spectacular play more times than not than other guys. But I think it keeps him into the game. I think his mind wanders when he's in the outfield. I really do. And I had ball players like that in high school and college and some of the top collegiate summer leagues for pro prospects. I had guys like that that were infielders who moved to the outfield and they're out there daydreaming. They're thinking about their swing. They're thinking about their last at bat. I think Fernando might be one of those guys. And I think when he's playing shortstop, or at least all what I'm seeing, he's much more engaged, much more passionate, much more enthusiastic looking. I'll let you weigh in on that, but I think that's something the Padres need to think about. Or maybe they're going to take Jackson Merrill and bring him back into short. Jackson Merrill really has played unbelievable baseball, folks. I mean, he played a total of 46 double-A games, and he hit the ground running. And, you know, he may wear down as we get deeper into the summer, into August, September. He never played this type of baseball. As far as against the intensity level that it takes to play every night Major League Baseball and grinding every day. They're going to have to find a way to get him a little bit of rest here and there. You know, maybe against tough left-handers, we've seen it with a Zokar. But it'll be interesting to see what happens with Fernando going forward. Okay, let's talk a little bit about the Padres starting pitching. I got to tell you, little update. Darvish making progress with that groin strain, doing pretty well. Joe Musgrove, on the other hand, I like Mike Schultz's comments before the game on Wednesday. He goes, well, it's going to be a couple of weeks before Joe does anything, you know, picks up a ball. He was asked about whether or not it was season ending or not. He basically said he didn't believe so. We're going to know more in a couple of days. And he basically said that the Padres are trying to figure out how to work this and that we should probably talk to Joe about it. You know, I've been saying, and I think I was one of the guys in the media early on, even in spring training. Remember, Joe and Darvish both finished last year on the IL. And Darvish came in and I thought threw pretty well in the spring. I thought he looked good. Joe, on the other hand, didn't look all that good until the very, very end of spring. And then he came in, got off to that tough start in Korea. Well, he doesn't like going to foreign countries. He didn't have a good outing a year ago down there in Mexico, nor did he have a good game in Korea. But, you know, he got off to a slow start. He had a couple of decent outings. And then I started asking around. They go, well, you know, he's got this injury, but, you know, they're going to try to maintain it. Well, you can only hide it so long. And when you're favoring one area, another area breaks down. I'm very concerned about Joe Musgrove because for me, he hasn't been right since spring training. But Joe, the old pro that he is, grinder, tough kid out of East County, you got to protect him from himself, folks. And if they came out 3 days from now and said Joe was done for the year, I wouldn't be surprised. And I'd actually nod my head and said that's probably the right move. He doesn't need to go out there and pitch less than 100% because it's just going to keep gnawing away at him if he has a bad outing. If he has a good outing, how's he going to recover? We'll wait and see. Now, if he can come back completely healthy, fine, bring him back. But I'm not bringing him back at 75 or 80%. You've got money invested in him long term. You got other contracts that are going to choke the heck out of the organization. So you need to get Joe healthy. Not only that, you got guys that are pitching well. I mean, Matt Waldron pitching lights out right now. He done a great job. His last 3 starts, he's been fantastic. I mean, I like watching this guy pitch. He throws like 90 miles an hour. But he spots his ball, got a little cut fastball, throws that knuckleball. As long as he gets ahead, he could be really effective. And then how about the young kid, Adam Mazur? He was outstanding on Tuesday night. 6 innings, gave up 1 run. maybe a little bit, excitable out there, worked behind in the count a little bit too much, ended up walking four guys. But that's going to happen. Yeah, let's face it. The Angels aren't, Mike Trout ain't in the lineup. They're not the 27 Yankees offensively. But Adam Mazur did a great job. And I look, because I worked a lot with pitchers, I look at body language. You got a good delivery, good body language out on the mound. He looked like he belonged. He didn't look like a scared rookie. The toughest part about a young guy going out, whether you're getting your first major league at bat or your first inning you're going out there, and I remember talking to my buddy Randy Jones. He said when he made his major league debut, the toughest thing for him to do was to pick up his right leg to deliver to the plate. Of course, Randy, a left-handed pitcher, picking that right leg up felt like there was a weight on it. And you talk to other pitchers, they have a hard time breathing. I mean, it's a lifetime journey to get to the big leagues. And you get out there, and some guys, they don't do real well that first night. But, hey, they're getting their feet wet. But Adam Mazur did more than getting his feet wet. He did a heck of a job. Mom and dad, brothers were there. 45 members of, friends and family were there. And he accorded himself really, really well. And then you look Dylan Cease. Dylan Cease, right from the get-go tonight, even before they hit the second home run, Seanwell got him leading off the game. But before Zach Neto got him for the two-run homer, you could watch Dylan's. I didn't think he really had his good stuff tonight. Yeah, he had his fastball, but his breaking stuff wasn't working. And you could almost talk about body language. You could see it visually in his face that he had a little concern, was a little frustrated. But you know what? He's a pro, man. He went 6 innings, didn't have his great stuff, gave up 3 runs early, and then did a hell of a job shutting them down and giving the ball club an opportunity to win the ball game. And then Randy Vasquez. Randy Vasquez is going to throw on Thursday night. Last time out, got his first win of the year against Kansas City. He's fine. He's getting better. He's getting better, and you just got to, trust your stuff and go out there. And I've said with Vasquez, he's got pretty good stuff. He doesn't have overpowering stuff, but if he works ahead, hey, every major league pitcher, you got to work ahead. You fall behind, 1-0, 2-0, 2-1, 3-1. You're living on borrowed time, brother. I'm going to tell you right now. So Randy Vasquez got pretty good stuff. Trust it. Challenge some hitters. Challenge some of the guys in the lineup that you can challenge, and they're not going to hit the ball out of the ballpark. Try to keep that pitch count down so you don't have to get to the bullpen in the 5th or 6th inning. That would be my call on that. But overall, Padres are doing well, and I don't want to forget Michael King. Michael King's going to throw in this series against the Diamondbacks. He's doing a great job. Hey, the starting pitching is not the problem. The bullpen's been a little shaky lately, but you know what? The bullpen has also been really good at points in time so far this year. So let's don't give up on that bullpen. Let's don't give up on Matsui. Let's don't give up on Wandy Peralta, who threw pretty well on Wednesday night against the Halos. Stephen Kolek, remember, he's a Rule 5 guy from Seattle. You got to keep him on the roster the entire year. If not, you've got to offer him back to Seattle. Kid's got a chance. Is he ready to pitch regularly in a high leverage situation? Absolutely not. But you got to find innings for him to make him better. He got a chance. There's some things about Kolek I really like. All right, let's get to the comments on Tucupita Marcano. Folks, Tuesday when this broke, I had a really hard time with this. And I have a hard time with it because, number one, I think the guy, I don't know him personally, but I think he's a pretty good kid. But he made a big mistake. And there are 4 other guys that made mistakes as well. Jay Groom was with the Padre organization. He bet, I don't know, under $1,000 when he was with the Boston Red Sox when he was in like high A ball. So he gets a 1-year suspension. But Tucupita Marcano gets suspended right now for life for violating the league's sports betting rules and policies. Now, I will tell you this, and I said this on Fox 5 on Wednesday morning. Pete Rose, when he in Major League Baseball, then Commissioner Bart Giamatti, they made a ruling, and Pete Rose, there was agreement that Pete Rose would be banned from baseball. And, Pete Rose signed off on it. And then shortly after that, Bart Giamatti passed away. And Fay Vincent took over. I was told by a high-ranking major league official who was part of those negotiations. I was told one night here in San Diego at dinner at Donovan's restaurant that Rose would have been back in baseball after 1 year if he'd have kept his mouth shut and just gone away quietly and then let it calm down because they had so much on him. But he would be reinstated. But two things. Number one, Pete Rose couldn't keep his mouth shut. He wasn't humble. Bart Giamatti passed away, and everybody felt that Pete Rose, the stress of suspending Pete Rose for life was too hard for Giamatti to take, and his heart gave out. Well, he had other health issues. And then Fay Vincent took over, who was an assistant to Giamatti, and, the rest was history. Rose was his own worst enemy. Do I think Pete Rose is a Hall of Famer? Absolutely. Does he belong in the Hall of Fame? I'll leave that up to you. But not only was Pete Rose a Hall of Fame player, I think if he would have stayed clean and not got kicked out of baseball, he'd have been a Hall of Fame manager. But as far as Tucupita Marcano, 24 years of age right now, somebody had texted me on Tuesday night, said, can he play anywhere in the world? Yeah, he can play other places in the world. I think Mexico he could play. He could play, I think, in Taiwan. He could probably play in maybe Australia winter ball. But I don't know if Japan would take him. Maybe Korea would take him. The Asian countries are a little bit different on that. I'm not so sure. The way I would play it if I'm Tucupita Marcano, I wouldn't make a statement other than coming out and say, hey, I screwed up big time. And I'm sorry. I've let everybody down. I've let my organization down. He did it. He was betting while he was with the Pittsburgh Pirates. Of course, he originally started with the Padres. And then he ended up going to Pittsburgh, and the Padres got him back, over the winter. But, he's rehabbing a torn ACL that he actually did round in third base at Petco Park last year. But he needs to apologize to everyone. From what I understand, Tucupita Marcano and the four other players that were suspended for a year, he's, of course, suspended for life as of right now. The other four are suspended for a year. None of them were appealing. They were taking their punishment. But I think Tucupita Marcano and his representatives need to forge a game plan. They need to be extremely humble, apologetic. And I think a year from now, I do think that he should be granted a meeting with the Commissioner of Baseball, Rob Manfred. And at that point in time, they can talk about the possibility of him maybe getting back into professional baseball. But we'll have to wait and see. But I do think they need to take a look at that. Now, the one thing that I haven't been able to figure out, folks, is in all the betting that he did, and he apparently bet quite a bit. They said between 2022 and 2023, he placed 387 baseball bets, 231 minor league or major league baseball related bets through legal sports book. And by the way, all these guys got turned in by a legal sports book. And we could sit here and we could talk about, but Major League Baseball, the NBA, the NFL, they all promote sports gambling. They do. But when you walk into the clubhouse, Rule 21, right there on the wall, in English and in Spanish, and I would imagine probably in Japanese now. I haven't been in the clubhouse this year. You don't gamble. And the Major League Baseball people come, the Player Association, they come to spring training every year. They hold meetings. They tell everybody, you can't gamble, you can't gamble, you can't gamble. What's also interesting about this is that all five of these guys, just, Michael Kelly, who was with Oakland, he bet a total of $99. He's done for the year. Done for the year. Bet $99. Amazing. But all these guys signed up under their own name. Now, I'd like to know how many guys are betting that are playing professional sports now that are betting under an assumed name. Would be interesting. The world has changed. You can't bet on baseball. But the thing about Tucupita Marcano, I want to find out, did he bet on his team to lose? If you bet on his team to lose, then stick a fork in him. He's done. But we'll see where this goes long term. I have a feeling his group should contact Major League Baseball after a year and see if they can get a meeting with the commissioner and all the powers to be a Major League Baseball. You do have to keep the integrity of the game, folks. And it's unfortunate. I think he's a good kid. Is he going to be a Major League star? No. But, he's damaged his reputation. Really, I think, a lot of people forget, where he's from? Tucupita, Venezuela. How about that? But, he's got to go home now with a stained resume. And I was kind of looking forward to him coming back. I kind of like him as a player. He hasn't put up big offensive numbers, but he's got some talent. And again, just a young guy. So we'll see where it goes. But Major League Baseball did what they had to do. There's no question about that. And maybe there was even more on him that they didn't disclose. We'll see about that. Okay, let's take a look at a little bit of the starting pitching for the series against the Arizona Diamondbacks. Not one of my favorite organizations. I like their manager, though, a great deal. I'm a big Terrill fan. I think he does a good job. I really do. And I think they were very fortunate to keep him. They could have said goodbye to him a couple of years ago, but they gave him a contract extension, did a great job with that young ball club. And they're scuffling. I mean, they're having a rough go right now. They're going to – and we'll go through the standings here in a minute, but I want to get to the pitching matchup starting on Thursday night. You got a couple of young guys going. You got at 6:40 at Petco Park, right-hander Slade Ciccone, a 25-year-old rookie, 1-4 and a 5.59, going against right-hander Randy Vasquez, still qualified as a rookie. Randy's 25 years of age, coming off his first win against Kansas City at Kauffman Stadium. He checks in 1-3 in a 5.74 ERA. Friday night, pretty good pitching matchup at 6:40. Right-hander Brandon Pfaadt, 25 years of age, second year, pitched very well against the Padres in the past, 2-4 and a 4.32, and the Padres will counter with 29-year-old right-hander Michael King, who I like his stuff. As long as he doesn't have bouts of wildness, he's been awful good this year. Michael will come into the game 4-4 with a 3.82 ERA. Saturday, 5:40. Right-hander Ryan Nelson, 26 years of age, 3-4 and a 5.44, going against right-hander Matt Waldron, 26 years of age, 3-5 and a 3.98. And then on Sunday, nothing official right now from the Diamondbacks. Jordan Montgomery got cuffed around pretty good on Wednesday. Didn't throw a lot of pitches. Giants jumped all over him early in the ball game, and he may, come back a little bit early, but they may hold him out until the next series. But officially, the Diamondbacks have not named a starter for Sunday. Another possibility is rookie left-hander Blake Watson, a 22-year-old who's only thrown 12 2/3 innings at the big league level, no record, but a 2.84 ERA. He could get the ball on Sunday for Lovello's ball club. And in the Padres, we'll get to see the young rookie right-hander Adam Mazur make his Petco Park debut, making his second big league start after coming off that six-inning performance against the Angels, where he gave up one run. So there you have it. Those are the matchups. Before we get out of here, I want to take a look at the standings. We're going to take a look at two standings. We're going to take a look at the National League West. And, boy, I'll tell you what, the Dodgers are having their problems right now. But we're going to also take a look at the wild card. You take a look right now at the Los Angeles Dodgers, and they got beat up pretty good on Wednesday night, 10-6 by the Pittsburgh Pirates. They have not fared well against the Pirates over the last couple of years. Dodgers sitting at 38-25. They've been great at home at 21-12. A road still over 500 at 17-13, a plus 81 in run differential. Padres sitting in second place right now, 7 games back at 32-33. You look at the Padre home record, that has to get better, folks. They're 13-19. But 19-14 on the road, doing a nice job there. A run differential of 7, and you see Padres now 5-5 in their last 10, and they have lost 4 in a row. San Francisco starting to play a little bit better. Bob Melvin called his ball club out after Tuesday night. They responded very well on Wednesday. They're at 30-33, 8 games back. You got the Diamondbacks at 29-33, 8.5 games back, and then you got the Rockies sitting at 21-18. and 40. Look at that. Run differential for the Rockies, minus 97. That's absolutely awful. So right now, you take a look, Padres, they better have a big weekend against Arizona, because if the Giants continue to play a little bit better baseball and Arizona, wins 3 out of 4 against the Padres could wake up on Monday morning. They could be in 4th place. How are you going to feel about that, Padre fans? Okay, let's take a look at the wild card now. You got the Atlanta Braves sitting at 34-25. They're having some problems. They got some injuries going on, obviously, about Ronald Acuna Jr. They've had some problems with their starting staff. You got the Cubbies at 31-31. And look at our Padre. We're right there. And we're right there at 32-33. Look at the mediocrity in Major League Baseball right now. Padres at 32-33. The Redbirds, you figure they're going to win a few playing in that National League Central. They're 29-31. The Giants hanging in there. The Pirates even hanging in there. The Diamondbacks, Cincinnati Reds, Washington Nationals even hanging in there along with the New York Mets. The only teams really that are out of the wild card are the Rockies and the Marlins. So it could be a dogfight. And I'm going to tell you right now, we take a look at those standings from time to time. Right now, Padres better make the playoffs. If not, they're going to have to be some significant changes in San Diego this coming year. There's no question about that. You can't keep running the same old group out there. You just can't do that. So there you have it. Now, a couple of things before we get out of here. We'll have another one late over the weekend to wrap up the Diamondback series and get you ready for the next series. But I want to remind everyone, this is on YouTube, San Diego Sports Talk, John Kentera. Again, it's on YouTube. You follow me on my Facebook page. You can go there and get all subscribed up as well and click on the link. Again, John Kentera, and on X, it's Coach Kentera 44. Coach Kentera 44. One last thing I do want to mention. I had somebody send me a note there. I get so many notes every day, I forget about them unless I write them all down. Somebody was asking me about Luis Arraez and his swing and how he's got supposedly the slowest swing in Major League Baseball. You know what? Let's get a few more Luis Arraezes. The guy's got a beautiful swing. Does he hit for power? No. But he can be a great table setter. Yes, he's already shown that with our San Diego Padres. I'll take Luis Arraez any day of the week and twice on Sunday. Again, Padres get swept by the Angels. They finish up their road trip 2-4. They're home Thursday night for game 1 of a 4-game series against the Arizona Diamondbacks. Thanks for tuning in. We really appreciate it. Again, please subscribe. We have a lot of fun. Send me your questions, your concerns. Again, you can do that on Facebook. You can do it on Twitter. And until next time, this is Coach John Kentera. Thanks for tuning in, everyone. Bye-bye.